best life that is for you. But whatever life that you want, you gotta go for it. You have to put the work in. Don't expect anyone to give you a handout or expect anyone to help you get there. Your happiness, your life, whatever you want to create is up to moi. It's up to you. Okay? Alright. Hey guys, and welcome back to Mika Reacting Reviews, reacting to things on the internet. Same day, same shirt, different video. And today we're reacting to a non-music reaction. And someone I don't usually react to. We're gonna react to Kim Kardashian and the Kardashians. These the older sisters anyway. And Kim Kardashian is yet again in the news. And this time she's no longer a damsel in distress, but you know, everyone just hates her again. And because she said something that really upset people, and basically saying that today's youth, today's generation, they don't want to work hard. They want sort of the rewards of the 1-5%. They want the rewards of people who really put their nose to ground and get shit done and then reap the rewards of their hard work, but they don't want to actually work hard. I personally don't have an issue with what Kim Kardashian said.
I have the best advice for women in business. Get your fucking ass up and work. It seems like nobody wants to work these days.
That's so true.
You have to surround yourself with people that want to work. Have a good work environment where everyone loves what they do because you have one life. No toxic work environments, and show up and do the work.
If you're the smartest person in that room, you got to go to another room. Like you don't, I want to be around really successful people because that's going to drive me to be successful.
Success is never easy. So you just, if you put in the work, you will see results. It's that simple.
I think it's more of sort of the messenger and not the message. Is Kim Kardashian privileged? Was she born into a privileged family, in a privileged situation? Yes. Kim Kardashian was born into some money. She was born with access to certain social situations or circles, or access to certain social networks. And she also had a mother who was willing to sell all their souls for fame. Just kidding. So, does that mean I don't think Kim Kardashian worked hard? Of course not. But I don't think Kim Kardashian worked as hard as someone else who's starting at a level that she wasn't at, and that needed to get to a level where she's at. So she worked hard, but she didn't have to work as hard as the average person would need to get to the 1%. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense. However, if you want to sit here and act like the millennials and Gen Z has not become super lazy, super spoiled, and super entitled, I don't know what rock you've been living under. We don't even have the culture in this society that our parents and our past generations had to be able to have this certain mentality. It needs to sacrifice almost everything to get to a certain point, to be able to build generational wealth, to be able to send your kids to college and they don't have to spend a dime. Of course, things were cheaper then. There's inflation now. I get it. Life is harder. Life is unfair. I get it. But I still think we don't even have the mindset it takes to be able to get to that point, because my generation and Gen Z actually believe in something called work-life balance. And this idea that like it's impossible for anyone this day and age to be able to climb the social or economic ladder, to be able to make more than their parents did, especially if you're starting at like working class or poverty level. I honestly think that is a false narrative. Is it hard as hell? Yes. And is most people not willing to put that much work into it and that much sacrifice into it? Yes, most likely. But the reason why I say that it's a false narrative, because you have immigrants that come over to America, you have immigrants that go over to the UK and Europe, Australia and Canada, and leave every single thing they own or earn behind. Families who literally built up a business and built up a life in their own country would sacrifice all of that. Literally just leave it and start from scratch and start over in a new country, and they manage as immigrants, sometimes even illegal immigrants, manage to be able to create business, create generational wealth, and send their kids to college without their kids having to pay a dime. So this false narrative that is like impossible is exactly that, is a false narrative. But the difference between people who say that is impossible and those illegal immigrants who somehow came over, started with nothing, and then created a business, sometimes multiple businesses, and then created generational wealth, again starting from zero. Some of them come over with something, or they come over with the knowledge that they have from the businesses they might have had in their own countries. They come over and with nothing, and they are able to build something, what's the difference? They're willing to sacrifice almost everything. Like I said, some of these families had businesses, multiple businesses, had wealth houses in their other country and decided to sacrifice it, burn it, basically, to start over new in another country because they thought it was better opportunities for themselves and their children. So they sacrificed that. They're willing to sacrifice their marriage, their mental health. There's no work-life balance. There's no day off. There's no excuses. I don't care about your mental health issues, nothing. They're willing to sacrifice their own loving or affectionate relationship with their kids because they think they're doing the best thing for them by doing that. They're hammering education into their kids, higher ed learning into their kids. It's a culture thing. There's a lot of other cultures that take their education extremely serious. Even in developing countries, a lot of people have negative stereotypes about developing countries, but a lot of those kids that come from the developing countries, when they go to America, Europe, Canada, Australia, so forth, to get an education, they usually graduate at the top of their freaking classes because education is drilled into them. Sometimes it's just a culture thing, and sometimes it's really the only way they have out of poverty. So they take it extremely serious, and they go into jobs, or they get majors and jobs that are high earning. No liberal arts, no women's studies, nothing like that. They get only, they have, it's like basically no choice for them. This is what they're going to get: doctor, lawyer, engineer, architect, scientist, what have you. They're going into jobs that are going to make a living, or they're going into cultures where owning your own job, owning your own business, being an entrepreneur, and diversifying is a normal thing in their culture. Another thing you see when you visit so-called developing countries, or people who want to call them developing countries, is that a lot of these people own businesses. From the people who have big businesses and who are well off, to the little families who don't have much but they're starting from the ground up. And not only will they have a business, they will have multiple business. Even if they have one building, they have a restaurant, and on side of the restaurant they're renting bikes to the tourists. They're also doing tours. They got an uncle or a cousin who does taxis. They do hair and nails on the side. They got multiple businesses going on. The whole entire family is involved, and the community helps each other. If one person has a restaurant and she know her BFF, or a woman down the street has, sells clothes, she'll direct you over there to her friend. And so it's a different culture, and it's a different mindset that we just don't have in the States and in the West. So they take all that knowledge that they have and they learned in their own countries, and they bring it over to the West, and they create businesses and lifestyles here. And they're willing to sacrifice everything to get it. So if you're not willing to sacrifice everything, that means no work-life balance. No, that means no mental health days. No, you don't get to have a loving relationship. No, you don't get to go on vacation and holidays and get your hair and your nails done. No, you don't get to have that tight, loving relationship with your kids. No, everything is about the business. Everything is about the job. Everything is about making money, building wealth, and just climbing that ladder. And you've got one business, you build another business, you open another business, you bring your family over, you bring your uncle, your cousin over to start a business, and you keep it all in the family, and you keep it all in the community. If you're not willing to do that, you're not going to get there. And it's hard. And is it fair? No, it's not fair. And let me tell you this, I have no want or desire whatsoever to be a 1 or 5%er. You know why? Because I don't want to make all that sacrifice. Hells to the no. No. I don't want to make any of that sacrifice. I like work-life balance. I like taking mental health days off. I like hanging out with my friends. If I had kids, I want to spend time with my kids. I don't want them being raised by strangers. I want to go on a holiday. I want to travel. I'm the biggest experiences over materials any day. So I don't have a desire to be a 1 or 5%er or a fucking 10%er. I just want to live my life. I want to make enough to be comfortable, and a little bit more to enjoy my life. That's all I really desire. And so I have no desire to be a Kim Kardashian whatsoever. I don't care about her life. I don't care what she owns. I don't care what she possesses. I don't care about her platform. I have no desire to be that. But I know if I wanted to be a Kim Kardashian, I would have to first make a sex tape, and then put a lot of work into it. But being wealthy, having more than enough, isn't a human right. So of course it's not fair. If you want to be a 1 or 5%er, or if you want to make over, $200,000 a year, you're going to have to work hard. That is not a human right to get over $200,000 a year, because that's more than enough, unless you have a bunch of freaking kids. And that's another thing. Decisions, life choices. If you're already living in poverty, and then you're popping out a bunch of kids, And then you're like, oh, it's hard for me to become a 1%er. You didn't make best life choices, did you? Call family planning. You know what I mean? When I see men and women with 3 or 5 kids crying because they're saying my McDonald's job or my Target job, I can barely feed my kids with that job. It's a minimum wage job. A minimum wage job was never meant to feed 3 to 5 kids. Those jobs were never created for that. When I was younger and I worked at Taco Bell and McDonald's and I worked at the Detroit Zoo once, you didn't see 30-year-olds with multiple kids working those jobs. If they did, they were like the top management or the top supervisor. And so I always felt like those jobs are meant for young people, people in transition, people that's in university and they're working summer jobs and stuff like that. It was never meant for people who had 3 to 5 kids. Now there's entry-level jobs, and I will say, yeah, entry-level jobs aren't always fair. Work corporate life, bosses, companies, they're not always fair to their employers or their employees. They don't always treat their employees right. Maybe you're doing a lot of work and for a little pay. So I'm not saying that everything's peachy clean and you have nothing to complain about. But again, in our culture, in our community, we don't, or in our schools, in our education system, we don't teach entrepreneurship, how to work for yourself. We don't teach how to invest in stocks and dividends or crypto. We don't teach how to invest in real estate and stuff like that. So people just feel like they don't have any other options but that. So again, I'm not saying everything is fair or not, but I do think a lot of people don't take on take the accountability onto themselves and say, well, I'm not doing what I need to do to get to there. And one of the evidence that I've seen in the last couple of years of that is when people got their PPP, when they got their virus loans, when people got those other bigger business loans, a lot of people by year 2 were broke. And that money went nowhere. That money went to buying clothes, getting their hair did, getting front lace wigs, getting your nails did. A bunch of women convinced themselves buying a Birkin bag was a good investment. Going on a holiday, going to Tulum so you can take your IG pictures. None of them, most people didn't invest that back into a business, put anything down on a home or property. But you want to think that you actually have the mindset and the knowledge and the education to be a 1 or 5%er. I get it. There's some people who are just born into it, but this is another false narrative. It's like if you're born into wealth, then the wealth just stays forever. No, wealth depletes. So if you're born into wealth and the next 10 generations do nothing with their lives, the wealth will deplete. So you have to continue generating the wealth. You know what I mean? So there has to be some sort of education there to be able to do that. And you learn it through your family, usually through your culture, the community, the people around you. You learn it. I love what they said about being around successful people. And it's not just being around successful people. It's like what you feed yourself, the music you listen to, what you watch, the books you read, the stuff you spend time with. That is a reflection of what you're doing in your life, and that rubs off on you. So if you're being around a bunch of people that's like, life ain't fair, it's their fault, it's his fault, it's my mama's fault, it's my daddy's fault, then that's what you're gonna start to reflect. But if you're around people that's like, no, get it done, that's when you start to reflect. I know growing up when I left my household, I didn't know anything about investing. I didn't even know how to balance a checkbook. I didn't know how to pay my taxes. I didn't know anything, how to own a business, be an entrepreneur. I know everything about my blackness and my oppression. But I didn't know how to build a wealth or build a life. I had to learn that on my own. So you can't be blaming everyone else. At some point, you have to take the power back into your hands and say, okay, let me break this cycle. And if this is what I want, I need to figure out how to get it and stop bitching and complaining. Again, I'm not saying life isn't unfair. Life is fucking unfair. And it's really hard for a lot of people. And a lot of people have to work really hard just to make a decent living. But if you do family planning correctly, and don't have any babies until you are all the way ready to have them, like financially, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and all those things. If you save your money and if you make the right steps, you can probably live a pretty decent life. A life that you're comfortable with, a life that you can be at peace with, right? Anyway, I don't want to make this video too long. I just think that I don't think there was anything wrong with what she said. If you want to be a 1 for 5%er, you have to be willing to sacrifice everything to get there. And if you don't want to, that's probably not for you. And it's okay if it's not for you. I don't know why everybody has this thing in their head that everyone needs to be 1 or 5%ers. Like, live your best life, whatever that means to you. If if one being 1.5%er and owning every brand in the world and having a bazillion cars and a private jet is for you, then go for it. But if it's not for you and you want a little house on a farm or somewhere or whatever, live the best life that is for you. But whatever life that you want, you gotta go for it. You have to put the work in. Don't expect anyone to give you a handout or expect anyone to help you get there. Your happiness, your life, whatever you want to create is up to moi. It's up to you. Okay? Alright, I'm going now. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to get your notifications when I do upload. All of that really does help with the algorithm, guys. If you'd like to support this channel even further, you can donate. My PayPal me link is in the description box below and also in the comment section. Of course, it helps. We don't have to. You can just like, comment, and subscribe. Another great way to support this channel is you to join my brand new membership program, different levels, different tiers, different perks, or you can visit my brand new merch shop. Links down below. I also have a second travel vlog channel. I travel as a lifestyle or live abroad. If you'd like to know where I am in the world, you can go to the description box below and also in the comment section. Hit the link. Go subscribe to my travel vlog channel and or follow me on my travel Instagram. My stories is usually what's most of the date. And you guys have an amazing day. Bye.